What's up guys, Clyde coming at you today with the vlog channel. Thank you for joining us. Today we're going to be talking sponsorships. Sponsorships. This is something that everybody that I've talked to wants to know about in some capacity pretty much. You know, how does it work? How did I get sponsored? How will you get sponsored? I'm going to tell you about what a sponsorship is because a lot of people don't seem to understand exactly how it works.
That's not how the Force works.
Nothing in this world is free, and if you think a sponsorship is just free parts, 99% of the time, you're wrong. Why am I qualified to give you this information? Well, there's three reasons, I guess. Number one, I do have a couple of sponsorships on the truck. I know other people who do have a good amount of sponsorship money behind them. And I also, the third reason is I have some close friends who run shops and are working in marketing departments of different places, who own different companies, etc., who are always getting sponsorship requests, and we talk about those kind of things from time to time. So that's why I'm qualified to give you this information. First and foremost, how do you approach getting this sponsorship, and what do you have to do when you get it? So, in order to get a sponsorship, the thing that you need to know is that you have to have something to offer back to the company. One of the most common things that I feel like of somebody reaching out and trying to get a sponsorship is, hey, I have this wicked Mustang or Camaro or Corvette. You know, you'll say, I'll run your sticker on my car. If you give me $1,500 headers, that probably costs you $800 to make. So essentially you want the company to pay you $800 to run their sticker on your car. Are you seeing it where that doesn't make sense?
They've done studies, you know. 60% of the time, it works every time.
That doesn't make sense.
The only way that you're gonna get sponsored by having a cool car is maybe if you have a little bit of money to throw into a car that you just bought and is brand new on the market. For example, if you're the first one to buy the R36 GTR, if it ever comes out, if you are the first one to have it and you could take it to a GTR shop who maybe doesn't want to spend the money to buy their own, they might help you out with labor and give you their cost on parts. That would be considered a sponsorship. Basically, what you do need to do to go and get a sponsor is reach out to the brand that you want to sponsor you and tell them what you have to offer. You have to have a good following. That's the number one thing. If you don't have a good following, you gotta build it up. Following can be in a lot of places today. I leveraged my following obviously on YouTube to kind of tell these guys I wanted to run your parts anyway. What do you think? Do you want to do a sponsorship deal? And we talked about the details and worked it out. You can leverage your social media following, your racing following. Like if you race in a ton of events, you might be able to squeeze something out. Basically, if you can push this brand for them, if you look at it from their perspective, they won't have to build social if you're pushing it good enough. You have to have some way to explain to them how you're gonna be generating them sales, because while it would be nice to think that, hey, you know, everybody just wants to be nice, at the end of the day, it's a business, and what they're doing is a business move when they give you parts, which they expect to earn money from. If someone gives me whatever, I'm sure they expect me to go, hey, I either, you know, if I don't like a product, I would have a conversation with them and say, hey, I can't run this. Thank you, but no thank you. But all of the products that I do talk about on my truck, I like. So if it's a sponsored product, it's my job to go, hey, I like this product. You should run this product too. I think you should take a chance on it. Tell them I sent you over there. And then this is the part where we get to talk about what sponsorships actually are. So even for me, like I feel like I have the high end of average on YouTube as far as following goes. I'm not like any of those big, huge vloggers, but I do have enough leverage to push people toward companies that I actually like. I would never, ever accept this sponsorship deal from a company that didn't fit with my vision or that I couldn't personally get behind and wouldn't spend my own money on. When I do try and get sponsored, I hit up companies and I tell them straight up, I am probably going to buy your product anyway, but I think maybe you would be interested in sponsoring it instead. That way, you know, I'm more inclined to go and try and push the product instead of, you know, running it and maybe mentioning it once or twice and that's it. Initially, you're probably going to get a percentage deal, which is, you know, you might get parts at cost. You might get a percentage off and they'll still make a little bit of money on the sale. You might get free parts eventually, but how it works most of the time is it's a tiered system. You'll start with a lower percentage, send them a bunch of sales. It's kind of a trial period. Send them a bunch of sales. They're like, whoa, this guy is making me a lot of money. I should give him more parts. You get parts, push more. Maybe eventually it turns into a money deal where they're giving you a percentage of sales back that you sell or something like that. I haven't gotten there yet. It's a very difficult thing to get to, but that's basically how it works. If you do get a sponsorship, it's like a full-time job. You need to run the product, learn the product, know the product well, and then go out there and you're basically acting as a salesperson for this company. When you get that sponsorship, you need to go out there and work your ass off to give that company back their investment and more. You need to push money into their pocket. That's where your relationships grow and you get bigger sponsorships, and that's basically the moral of the story. So the cliff notes on this, in case I lost you somewhere in there, is 1, have a following. 2, you get a small sponsorship. And 3, you need to push the product. Push. Send that sponsorship their money's worth. You don't want to be that guy who runs it, puts a sticker on their car for a season, and then you never hear from them again. That's a good way to put you on the bad side of companies. That's about it, guys. That's what you're looking at for sponsorships. So if you're looking at this as in it's free parts, free money, nothing in this world's free. Just remember that. There are companies out there that, you know, sell you a package to get your car sponsored. Also a load of crap. I remember filling those out when I was like 16, and then it was like, oh, we want $99. I'm like, oh, that's fake. It's bad. Don't do it. I think they still exist. And that's it, you know? And the one thing to realize in this whole sponsorship thing is there are thousands of people who could be just like you. There are a lot of people running the same turbo truck as me, the same thing. If the companies that are on board with me wanted to give out parts, they wouldn't make any money. So you have to find a way to set yourself apart from the crowd, and then you can grow it and build yourself a nice little sponsorship. Get yourself a nice little nest egg, maybe eventually have another stream of income. So that's about it. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions about this, hammer those comments down below. I'll try to answer them as best as I can. Please like this video if it was informative, if you enjoyed it, if you were entertained by it. If you hate my ugly face, press that like button. Remember to hit that subscribe button. Appreciate it so much, guys. Thank you for watching very much. I'll catch you next week. This has been Clive. This is vlog exclusive content. We're ready to go crazy on this vlog channel, so I'll see you next week.